Good morning, YouTube Pie Smokers. So, here's Saturday's car talk. So, your check engine light's on in the car. It wasn't on last night, but now you get in it this morning and it pops on. Now, there's a few types of check engine lights. There's the one that just glows orange. There's others that change to red, and there's others that flash red. Not all do that, but typically the ones that flash red is a serious problem. One you can feel currently, like a misfire or something like that. The steady orange one is just could be a minor thing, and the red could be a stored code that's not flashing, but just to let you know there's a potential problem. So now, what do? So everybody's seen these code readers, okay? These are under $100. You can get them as cheap as $50. There's some for $30. If you go to a mechanic and all he has is this, be careful. This is a good tool, but it has its limitations, and it's a good tool to sell stuff with that doesn't fix your car. And that's one reason why a lot of the auto parts stores will scan your card for free. Many times they'll come out with a scan tool like this. They sell 1 million O2 sensors because of this tool that don't fix the problem. Because this cannot read data. This can only read codes, okay? To properly fix a car and diagnose it properly, well, I'll get to that later. Now, this is another scan tool. This is a code reader plus. This will give you some data, still has its limitations, slightly better than this one. This is $150, some are $200. You can get these for around $100. Still has its limitations. Now we come to the Cadillac. This is a real scan tool. Okay, this tool is $8,000. This company offers this tool for around $3,000 that'll do what this can do. This has a built-in lab scope, so you're paying for that. But the point of this is, this I can get into the car make and model based on year. It's bi-directional, which means I can control stuff with this. Let's say, for example, you had a no start condition and we suspect the fuel pump. I could turn on the fuel pump with this tool and monitor fuel pressure where I can't with the other cheaper scan tools. Any good mechanic you go to should have a scan tool comparable to this. Doesn't have to be Snap-on. There's other companies. I prefer Snap-on. Launch makes one, or Tel, Bosch. There's a lot of them. Probably total about 8. They all are in the $2,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 range. Snap-on makes one, a new one now that's $20,000. But don't be fooled. It still has the same software as this one. The only difference is those have a laptop built into it. So, and a few other features that this doesn't have. But this does have what they call a movie feature. So, here's how this works. If I plug this into your car, I'm driving along, let's say you have an intermittent problem. I wait until I feel the problem, and then I hit record, which is actually stop, because this tool's always recording. So now I found in that movie is the glitch that happened. I come back to the shop, I have software I can run on the computer, and I can read that data and see where the fault occurred, and then I can tell what sensor dropped out to be able to fix your car. Now, so we get back to your car. Your car has a check engine light on. So now let's say a lot of people have these, and they're good to have, don't get me wrong, they have its purpose. And you plug it in and you see an O2 sensor code. That does not mean that you need an O2 sensor. It could, but you got to keep in mind, sometimes you get a code as a result of and not the cause of. A good example, if you had a car with a high mileage, let's pick a Subaru because they're fairly common to have this problem, that has 150,000 miles or so, the catalytic converters start to get clogged, and you'll get an O2 sensor code because of that. Many times you can put 20 O2 sensors on, you're not fixing that car. You need a catalytic converter. So be careful with codes and parts changer shops. Also, this is where Google can help you if you do have one of these. And this is good to keep your shop that you go to a little bit honest. So you plug it in, you see you have an O2 sensor code. Jot down that code, go to Google, type it in, type in the car you have, and you'll see pages usually of people that have the same problem and many times what they took to fix it. Now, you have to, just like you treat Google reviews or Amazon reviews, you have to read through a lot of them sometimes because if 20 people said they fixed it by changing a O2 sensor, there's a good chance that the O2 sensor in that case will fix the problem. If you read 2 changed the O2 sensor, fixed it, another 10 changed the catalytic converter and it fixed it, then it gets a little more difficult. But the point is, I'm not trying to say fix your car with Google. I'm just trying to say educate yourself. So you get a gist of what's going on with your car, so that when you do take it to the shop, you know what the guy is telling you. You'll hear some of the terms that you happen to read online, and you can make a better judgment if he's telling you the truth or if he's selling you something. The other thing to keep in mind, all parts are not created equal. I know a lot of people go to that Rock Auto. Now, they do sell some good parts, but they sell a lot of garbage too. You have to go with, in my opinion, with critical parts, name brands. I'll give you an example. I'll take a wheel bearing, for instance. Moog, M-O-O-G, is a very good company. Not as good as they once were, which is a lot of problems with companies, but they're still probably one of the best out there. That wheel bearing, when it's a hub assembly with the ABS sensor built into it for General Motors, is about $260. You can buy the knockoff, and if it's Advanced Auto, it'll be DriveWorks, their brand. It's $140, so you save $110. The bearing is no good. You will not get a year out of that bearing, so you end up doing it twice. Even if the part comes with a lifetime guarantee, you're still going to pay a mechanic to switch that hub out 3-4 times in a year, plus the inconvenience, so you're not saving nothing in the long run. Go for the better part. Name brands matter, and many times you're better off, you pay more, but getting the part directly from the dealer because they're known, tested. Typically, most cars that we have today go over 100,000 miles with the parts that you buy from the dealer. So that's probably your best bet, but you do pay more for them. Not all the time. Sometimes you will get a deal. If it's not a super popular part, the part will be somewhat more reasonable, even in the auto parts store sometimes. But the part is better. Like catalytic converters, they have what they call the universal converter. Now, picture this. The converter comes out of your car, let's say, is this big. You get a universal catalytic converter, it's this big. It'll work, but not for 100 and some thousand miles you got out of your original. Now, if you're looking to get rid of the car in a year or 6 months or so, then that may be an option for you to save money. But if you plan on keeping the car for the long haul, go to the manufacturer and get the original catalytic converter, because that will last. You won't be doing it twice. You do it once, and that's it. So keep those things in mind, and I'll catch you on the next one. I don't want to make these videos too long and confuse you, so we'll do it in little spurts, and hopefully you get something out of it. Thank you.